Welcome to another episode of For the Sake of Heaviness.
Heaviness.
My name is Merciful Mike, and as always,
Heaviness.
I'm here.
Heaviness.
He needs no introduction. I'm here with.
I'm Butch Balich. Hello.
Yes, you are. You are Butch Balich. All right, today, I guess we're kind of we're taking up some of the ideas we've seen from fellow podcasters and channels, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna rank album artwork. And Butch said, what better band to start with than
Death.
Death. So we're going to rank the artwork from the 7 studio Death albums. And some of these are just fucking iconic. You got to know that. If not all of them, but a couple of them for sure. You know, they're the best. I'm just looking at my list. They're awesome.
Yeah,
so I will let you start. I will let you start, and we'll go back and forth.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these album covers. Some of them I really like a lot. I don't know where they're gonna fall. It'll be interesting to see where they fall compared to yours, and then how other people feel about the covers. But for me, number 7 for me is Human. Again, it's not a terrible record cover, but there's something about it. Like I find it just kind of like. It sounds funny to say because it's got, 2 like half bodies and stuff, and there's, intestines and lungs, and they're like x-rays of, and you get that, but it's something about it, like it's kind of like on the, I don't know, it's kind of like on the plain side to me, or something. There's something about it. Maybe it's the browns in the background or whatever, but I just find it to be kind of like it's fitting for the title for sure, but it's just not. For me, like I look at it, it's not the most exciting of their record covers.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think those, that group of 3 that I'm going to butcher this name, but it was Renee Mivelle or Mivelle. I'm probably tearing that up. But yeah, those 3 album covers where Renee did the artwork for them. They have that connection, kind of like I don't want to say medical, but yeah, there was the use of skulls and skeletons and like the X-ray, and the color palette on those was, I don't know, left a bit to be desired. So I'm going to go along with you somewhat. For my number 7, it was Individual Thought Patterns, and it was the same kind of thing. I kind of like the little half circle loop with the title, and then the logo is up top, and I think that it's a skull, but it's backwards. You're looking at it from the back.
Yeah.
So it's like if you hold the album cover up, it's like you're looking through the eyes of the skull. Whether that was intentional or not, I'm not real sure. That's probably something I should look up and see. But yeah, I just didn't think it was like for the music of Death, I didn't find that particular album cover, real gripping. Still cool, but yeah, it left a bit to be desired for me. So that's Individual Thought Patterns would be my number 7.
That is my number 6, and for the same reasons as yours. In fact, I don't want to jump ahead or anything like that, but there is, like you said, there's a grouping of these record covers that kind of fall, and they all kind of like fall into the same grouping for me. That one, there's just, again, like I dig it and I like the record a lot. I think it's probably my favorite Death album. I really appreciate like the technicality on it, and the lineup on the record is killer. I think it's the first time I had listened to a Death record and was like, oh my god, like I really like this album a lot. Like it was the first one that kind of like turned me on them.
Yeah.
And I like this one more than Human. I still think it's kind of like, there's something about the earth at the bottom, and maybe it's the way that it sounds funny to say, but it might be the way that the title is kind of stretched around it that kind of throws it off a little bit for me. Like maybe if it was in a different font or at the bottom instead of wrapping around the earth, it just has kind of like I don't know, it feels like the way the logo's placed, and the art has one vibe to it, and then you put this pink and red logo
the color
over top of it.
Odd. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I kind of wish they would have tucked it in the corner,
Hmm.
and then put the title across the bottom in a different font in a different color. But I mean, what do I know? I'm not doing album artwork. It's not terrible album artwork. I like you know,
Yeah,
I if I saw this, I wouldn't say that sucks. It's just of their covers,
right.
it's my you know sixth favorite.
I get it. I get it. All right. Number six for me is Sound of Perseverance. And this one is the one created by Travis Smith. He actually did the Control Denied album too. I do like this album because I like the red and it's got like the mountain with, you can interpret this any way you want, but it always looked like a big mouth to me with just
Yeah, like a
screaming
screaming mouth.
despair. Yeah,
Yes.
which it's almost like a hellscape. So it was a lot to look at and a lot to take in. I can still stare at that album cover and pick out, other little things. But I think that album really, or the album artwork really relayed, a sense of despair. So I kind of, I dug that about that album. And I know that, it doesn't necessarily reflect, the music in the album, because for all practical purposes, that was supposed to be a Controlled Denied album. So, I don't know. I still like it. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
Sound Perseverance, that'll be my number six.
All right. Number five for me is Symbolic. Again, it's part of that triptych of record covers. I do like the placement of the logo better here for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I like that there's more to look at that draws you in on this cover. You get the eye in the middle, and I like the hands at the bottom with the two, you
Yep.
know, bodies in the middle, and then you kind of got the snake
Yeah, that's
things
awesome.
going up the sides, and then there's kind of like a hellscape kind of vibe
Yeah.
going on here. And although it has that same kind of like color palette of the other two album covers, I just kind of like this one. I think it draws me in more, and I just feel like the placing of the death logo and the coloring of it too, like the red and the black instead,
Hmm.
and then and the way Symbolic is in the other corner.
Yeah.
I just think it makes for a cooler looking record cover. So that is my number five.
Okay. My number five is going to be Human. I did like the way this was laid out, and again, this one gave a little bit more of like a like a medical journal kind of feel. But I like the way that the skeletons are placed on either side, and they're kind of looking toward each other. And then you can, I think there's a lot more to interpret because when I like to look at album art, I always like to see, okay, well, what can I pick out? What can I take away from this? What's the meaning of all of this? So that one grabbed me a little bit more. I think everything else was, laid out pretty good. But yeah, those three that, Miville did, they have like those earthy tones. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like, the red kind of pops a little bit. It's a little bit different. But yeah, number five is Ewan.
Right. Number four for me is The Sound of Perseverance. Again, like you were saying, like I love the colors on here. Really draw me in. I like that red, orange, and the shadowy,
Yeah.
the shadows of like the fucking, um, they could be mountains, they could be towers or whatever in the background. You can't really, it's like a mountainous thing in the middle there with the mount with, I think most people look at that and it looks like a screaming mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I really like the layout of this cover. And the people like kind of crawling up the face of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
towards the mouth. I mean, it's a striking piece of artwork. Um, so yeah, that's my number four. Like it's a very like these record covers I feel like are like yeah, I feel like in some ways I'm like because we know where we're going for three, two, one for me now, and same for you. But like the they like seem there's a more serious
Yeah.
vibe to them.
Yeah.
Not as cartoony and whatever, but for this one, just the way that it's all kind of like done, just like there's so much little shit. In
Yeah.
fact, some of this stuff, like I didn't even notice. at first until like really taking a look at it. Like
Sure.
the people in the thing, walking up towards the mouth, and I just
And
it has
why
like
they're
a
doing
real
it.
just like a forsaken, like a Mordor or something, kind of
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
forsaken kind of place vibe again, like a hellscape kind of thing, like these lost souls and stuff. I don't know, man.
Right.
It's a cool piece of work, and I love the Control Denied cover too. So
Yeah, I do too. I think that's pretty cool album cover too. Well, I'll wrap it up on those three because my number four is Symbolic, and a great name like, because I think it goes with the artwork because there's a lot of symbolism going on there. Like you said, where like the snakes sort of intertwined and it comes up with
mm-hmm.
the hands. There's so much to decipher on there. And there's a lot of times too where it's like I like to, and it goes with lyrics and everything else too. It's like, or maybe I don't want to know what the intended meaning was for any of this because I like my interpretation, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yeah,
I want it to be what I think, and symbolic absolutely does that. And to your point too, I think those three in particular, it that was the main change where it went from B movie gore to okay, we're going to be a little bit more serious and critical about what our playing and what we do, and
mm-hmm.
things got a lot more serious, and the musicianship became a lot more intricate.
Right.
So there was a huge shift from, like you were just saying, those first three, those Ed Repka album covers to the next three. It just went with the evolution of the band completely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what's your number
So
three?
number three, I mean, now we're into the Ed Repka stuff, and it's impossible for me not to have these as the top three because they're just so iconic.
Yep, I agree.
Um, and it's not like those other covers aren't cool and all, but they're not like I don't really see them as the closest one to it being an iconic cover for me is Sound of Perseverance. Like,
Mhm.
but when I think of Death, I automatically always think of these record covers.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
it's just what it is. And it
Yeah,
goes back to like that's what we saw. That was the first thing we saw from them
absolutely.
when we
Yeah,
were kids. So it's gonna stick with you. It's like, oh
yeah,
man, look at that. I mean, think of all the record covers from the '80s that we saw, and so for me, of the three, Leprosy is number three for
okay.
me. I like it a lot. I like I like the dude with the sores on his arm, and
Yeah,
it's kind of got like almost like a out in the desert, like sand, like reminds
yeah,
me of like the sand people or something like that. Uh, it's a little bit. I think it gets the point across. I don't know. I feel like it almost could have been a little bit more gory or
yeah,
something. Like maybe have a few more. Um, but I love that the close up of
yeah,
a thing, and it's a cool record cover. But
yeah.
that's my third of the three.
Okay. I'll be a little predictable here. My number three is Spiritual Healing. It's a great album cover, speaks volumes. It was timely for the time when you think about, the scandalous televangelists and all of
Yeah,
that to begin with. But what struck me the most about this album when it came out though was the stark blue on the album. It was like, whoa, look at, it's like a daytime album. It
yeah,
wasn't dark and gloomy. It was like, wow, that blue was just so striking to me. And then the look on the zombie or whatever you want to say in the wheelchair, and the priest behind him, and it spoke volumes. It was a social statement for the time, which therein again, that album kind of started to set or plant the seeds for what was coming. There was a little bit of that stylistic change, and I think the album, knowingly or not, spoke to that a little bit because it was a more of a social statement on the album cover rather than just gore and
war.
zombies, and yeah.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I love that blue starkness of that cover. So,
yeah.
yep, spiritual healing.
It is real different for them at the time. And I have it at number two for me. There's like a I don't know. It's almost at odds with them being a death metal band. because it's there's like a playfulness about the cover. First of all, the blue is like you said,
Yeah.
you go from leprosy that's kind of like the the
Dis
freaking
dismal and
dismal,
apocalyptic.
and you know the dark pink purple sky, and the
Yeah.
the tans, and the yellow skin and the swords and stuff, and then you go to this one and it's like blue,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
but I like the skin tones of the people too
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
Not just to get that zombie in the wheelchair, but like they're almost like borderline like zombies themselves. If you look like
Right.
the face on the preacher, and I like the time, and it's just so fitting, like that title with the way all these the way all these people look, and they just like have this.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
enough just to have like preacher church going type, these televangelist type people on there. They all have like that
Yeah.
look on their face like they're insane,
Yeah.
and like
Exactly.
they're like they're taken, but just possessed by whatever it is.
Yep.
And I just think like it's like for a band called Death, it's a fun
Yeah.
record cover.
Yeah.
And I just always like this one just that much more than Leprosy.
Sure. No, I get it. I get it. Okay, well, leprosy's my number two. Actually, I'm looking over here because I've got a big ass poster of it. Um, I just, it's an iconic uh artwork, with the leper, like you said, holding it, and then there's that nasty looking shack in the back. It's like
Yeah,
who's in there rotting away, and but like you said, it's like that those pink skies look real apocalyptic, so it might say leprosy, but is that radiation sickness too? I don't know. It opens up to all kinds of stuff. So I just, yeah, it's you know, it's an eye catcher for sure. So, and pull the plug.
yeah. So number one for me, Scream Bloody Gore.
Well, we can just
Freaking
both
I
talk about it because
Yeah,
it's
I
mine too.
mean, iconic record cover. I mean, you gotta love the color palette on this freaking thing, and
Oh, it's
it's like
fucking awesome.
you got your reds, and so then you get the main skeleton dude in the middle, in the purple standing out, and then you get your greens and grays in the background, and just like it's just such a cool
Yeah,
record cover, and it's like what it's funny too, like because it's a time period where you think about like some of the record covers, like if someone were to describe this to you without you seeing it, you would think, oh, it's probably like one of those cheesy
right, right.
80s covers, like, but it's
Yeah.
really done like really well.
No, it looks
I
fucking
think like
fantastic.
it's not like a caricature of like, some of those 80s records where you get dudes with like arms that are too short, and
Right,
it's like
yeah.
a caricature of a warrior, of a monster. It's like a kid drew it, instead of like this is like, you
Serious
know,
piece of art.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's cool. And like it's always funny, like kind of looking at it, like the logo's kind of like a little bit um it's almost like someone Xeroxed it a couple times. Like the thing that keeps it from being like totally pro looking, that keeps it like this is indie looking, is like
right, right.
the Scream Bloody Gore.
With
They even put
quotes.
the hash marks in it, and like the font is like just kind of like,
This is what we
but
got. Yeah. Uh,
that artwork is great. The fucking throne and the three,
yeah.
it's
Yep.
almost like a twisted
Love gun.
version of death metal version of Love Gun or something like that.
I always thought that too. I didn't at the time, but like one day it clicked. I was like, that's kind of like the Love Gun setup with the girls, but anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, the same
I think
color
it's
in the
great.
background, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah. To me that was always like this is like the dungeon path
yes,
before you get to hell. These guys are waiting for you or something. But yeah, it is. I mean, just gore galore, looks fucking cool, looks evil, and we were all about that at the time. So yeah, Scream Bloody Gore is definitely my favorite too. I gotta say though, one thing that kind of, and this is just the purist in me coming out, but I guess it goes with the flow, is I was always kind of disappointed on, since you brought it up, how they started to kind of streamline the logo the further that they went. They got rid of the spider, and then they got rid of the little ghoul, and they kind of they cleaned it up. By the time they got to Perseverance, it was pretty streamlined and sterile, I
Yeah, it's
think.
just it's just the letters really. I mean, they still have the scythe
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there, but
that's all that
like
wasn't managed.
yeah, every it seems like they took an element out of it like every time. I'm with you. I really like the I, I I guess part of it goes hand in hand with the fact that as they went on, they became a more technical band and more
Yeah,
serious.
right. Yeah,
And like we both like that. I love that old logo,
yeah,
but messy looking and
yep.
but I guess there's like a I don't know, maybe like a I don't want to say it doesn't look professional, but it's like I think as they go on, yeah, it gets more professional, but it's not as endearing.
Right,
You
right.
know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the
yeah,
logo's like kind of like first of all, the logo itself, like even by the time they get to the end, it still looks like something that almost like something that a kid drew up.
right,
Um, which is it's a cool iconic logo. I love like
right.
especially like a spiritual healing. It really sticks out like the drips and drops coming from
Yep,
it, and
yep, yep. Exactly.
um, you know,
But see,
yeah, I
I think that original logo's got a lot of character. Like you said, it does look like, some kid bored in, history class was scribbling in the back page of his book and came up with that, but I love that shit.
yeah.
That looks great. But yeah, no, I think it got a little bit more stripped down because like you said too, that's the style change and they got more technical. So I guess the logo had to reflect that too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the old days it made sense to have, you're like your little phantom guy and the
Yeah.
webs and the all of that. Um, when you're singing about more like brutal kind of stuff, then
Yeah.
as you're going on, you're becoming a little bit more serious. I don't know. I'm with you. I like the
Like the original.
I like the old version of it. I love that. First of all, it never changed, but I love the upside down cross
Yep,
in the
me too.
middle of it too. Like, oh, it did. Like, but and by the time you get to the end, like the bar has raised up. It's
Hmm.
almost in the middle of the cross. So it's like
Yeah, it's not so
I didn't even notice that till now. I was like, well, let's look at the cross, and then it's like it like
yeah.
just goes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they
mean,
fixed that too.
eh,
Oh well. All right, well there you have it, everybody. We just ranked the 7 studio albums from the mighty Death. So put your order in the comments. Argue with us. Tell us why that our lists were terrible. You should have done them like this.
yeah.
Damn it.
Tell us why we're wrong.
Tell us why we're wrong, man. And while you're at it, like and subscribe.
And tell your friends to
Hey,
like and subscribe.
yes,
And if you're
definitely.
already our friends, why haven't you liked and subscribed?
That's right. We need all of you. We're all
Sons
in
of
this
bitches.
together.
Bumpases.
We're coming. Sons of bitches. That'll be on our Christmas special.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us again. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. We'll see you again on For the Sake.
Oh.
Goodness.
Slow and slow.
Scream bloody gore.
Battle.